You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
So we're joined with Inspector Steve Seabrook from the Marine Police. Steve, as always, it's great to catch up with you.
Thank you, Daniel. It's really good to be back. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, I was wondering, perhaps, although you've visited us as a regular visitor a few times now here at BRFM, if you could give our listeners a little bit of an introduction into what you do and your role.
Yes, essentially the Kent Police Marine Unit is based at Sheerness Port, and from there we operate two ribs and our large launch out into the Thames Estuary and the River Medway. We also cover the English Channel and all of the inland waters, and essentially our work is about counter-terrorism. It's about seeking terrorists on board incoming ships. It's about neighbourhood policing, look after problems and issues that affected people on the water's edge. We also tackle serious and organised criminality, and we protect sensitive sites that are situated along our coastline throughout Kent. So essentially our territory extends roughly from Dungeness all the way round up to the Queen Elizabeth Bridge and every river and lake in between.
Now, the Olympics is fast approaching now. What will you be doing for that?
I'll be working very hard. In fact, for some months now, our teams have been doing additional training. We've taken on additional reserve officers who need to be trained in their marine skills to come up to standard and pass their qualifications in order to be able to serve on the boats appropriately. And during the Olympics, in fact, 2 days ago, we started in earnest. We're conducting patrols in the Thames Estuary and in the River Thames under the command of the Metropolitan Police to protect the Thames route into London. And a lot of that work is about stopping vessels that are coming into the Thames and understanding what their reason for being in the Thames, what they're about. And obviously we're looking for the terrorist amongst them. I should say there's no intelligence or evidence to suggest that's the case, but that's the sort of security measures that have been placed to protect the games and the public who are enjoying the games. And the other side of our work going on concurrently is what we call our business as usual boat. So we also have a boat that's on patrol, principally in the River Medway and around the Grain, Isle of Grain, and that again is looking to deal with local problems and issues. But that boat can also be redeployed anywhere in Kent or in our partner force Essex if necessary. So lots to do in the Olympics, and that will continue right up through the period of the Paralympics as well.
Now, Steve, I understand you escorted a pretty important boat recently.
Quite a boat, yes, that's right. HMS Ocean, one of the largest ships in the Royal Navy, came up the Thames Estuary on the 13th of July onward to Greenwich, and in partnership with the Metropolitan Police and Essex we provided some of the escort for that vessel, taking her up beyond the Queen Elizabeth Bridge up to the Woolwich Barrier, and left her there for her onward transit to her berth. So that was a real privilege, and we were real pleased to do that.
Now, are you going to be involved in the Olympic flame as it comes through our area?
Yes, and quite an event this is going to be. I think this is going to be really exciting in Kent. On the 17th of July, we're involved in a practice run down at Dover, where the Olympic torch is expected on the 18th of July, and will be coming in to Dover Harbour on a four-masted ship, accompanied by the RNLI and a small flotilla. So practice on the 17th, real thing on the 18th of July. So that's going to be quite an event down there in Dover. And then a few days later, on the 20th of July, the Olympic torch is going along a small section of the River Medway from the Archbishop's Palace at Maidstone down to Maidstone Rowing Club. Now that's at 7 o'clock in the morning for you early birds, but we'll be providing a small escort for the torch as it's rowed along the River Medway on that part of its trip.
We are at the moment talking to Inspector Steve Seabrook from the Marine Police, and it's part of the regular slot I do at the Monday Night Community Show with Steve, normally catching up with him once every 2 to 3 months. So at the moment we're talking to Inspector Steve Seabrook from the Marine Police. Steve, I know you wanted to cover antisocial behaviour next.
Yes, you'll appreciate that the water is a fantastic environment for recreational users of the water, and along the Medway and on the Isle of Sheppey we have a number of thriving clubs who take advantage of the water, and that's really great. But it's always sad when there is a small element whose behaviour on the water is antisocial and causes problems for other people. And for a long time we've been working very closely with the Medway Ports Authority to see how we could help address this. Essentially, this is an issue for the Medway Ports Authority, but we're right on the water's edge here with our boats regularly in the water, and we have constant contact with the vessel traffic services for the Medway Ports Authority. And certainly over the last year I've dedicated our Marine Special Constable team. We have a team of 9 special constables who have full police powers, and they do joint patrols. So every weekend they'll be getting on board Medway Ports Authority harbour master vessels and accompanying the harbour master and his team out onto the water, and will help them deal with antisocial behaviour that occurs. I wouldn't like to suggest that there's a massive problem. That's not the case, but even a small problem can have a big impact on the local community. And regularly there are problems with jet ski users that come from out of county. The vast majority of jet ski users on the River Medway are law-abiding people who have a keen interest in their sport and behave themselves sensibly and appropriately as good mariners. But there are a small number from outside, certainly, who do not, and we have actively worked with Medway Ports Authority to deal with those individuals. Now, I appreciate the Medway Ports Authority bylaws lack some clarity around jet ski use, and we've been working very closely with the new Deputy Harbour Master, Mr. Jonathan Mills, who's again looking at those bylaws and seeing how they could be refreshed and brought up to date, so there's absolute clarity about where jet skis, for example, could be used. And I think that's a very positive step, because the vast majority of people want to obey the law, they want to be compliant with the bylaws, and they want to enjoy their sport reasonably and properly. And I think a refresh of this legislation, which the Medway Ports Authority are looking at, will be very helpful.
Now, I understand you're working closely with the Harbour Master.
Yes, that's correct. We've always had a very close, good professional working relationship with Medway Ports Authority. And it's important to realise that the River Medway is the jurisdiction of that Port Authority. And we as Kent Police work on that part of the river under their jurisdiction, and we're very jealous to ensure that everything that we do is compliant with the bylaws and the regulations. But of course there are problems that occur on the water's edge, as I've described, where a joint approach with the Port Authority and with the police and with other partners can help resolve problems. So we're keen to do that, and we're actively involved in all of the public meetings that the Harbour Authority prepare and have available for people to come along to.
We are at the moment talking to Inspector Steve Seabrook from the Marine Police here at the Monday Night Community Show. We are talking at the moment to Inspector Steve Seabrook from the Marine Police here at the Monday Night Community Show, and it's part of a regular slot I do with them, normally once every 2 to 3 months. Steve, I know you wanted to cover an example of how you work with the Deputy Harbour Master.
That's right, Daniel. Well, the majority I work with the Port Authority tends to be long term, but there are occasions where there are incidents that occur quite spontaneously, and we're able to assist when we're on patrol in the River Medway. And a good recent example is where a report was brought to the vessel traffic services that 2 young men had been interfering with a navigational aid, a buoy, around in the area of Riddham Dock on the Swale, and this was relayed to my colleagues on the police rib, who went to investigate. They found 2 young men on their own boat, and they caused that boat to stop. And the search of that boat revealed a solar panel that had been removed from the buoy and stolen and hidden in their boat. The 2 of them were arrested. One has since been charged and is due to appear at court, and the other is currently on police bail while further inquiries are being made. And whilst I can't say too much more about the circumstances, because clearly this is a case to go before court, I would be pleased to come back to you perhaps in a few months' time and tell you what the outcome is. But the important thing here is that a member of the public reported a suspicious sighting of people interfering with a navigational aid, something which is there for the safety of mariners. Promptly put that through to the vessel traffic services, and because of the relationship that we have with them, they are able to get that information to us, and we're able to respond and capture the people responsible, which I think is really important, and is a good example of the sort of thing that we do working together.
Now, did you want to cover about a rescued vessel, Steve?
Well, there's been a couple of bits and bobs this month of interest. For example, last month our Marine Sergeant was out on patrol and came across a vessel in the upper Medway who's had lost its engines. It was completely adrift without power. Took that boat in tow to a safe position, but en route back to a suitable mooring, saw in the distance a gentleman that had fallen from his dinghy. It had capsized and he was hanging on in the water. He'd been in the water for quite some time and was very cold, and there was concern that he was hypothermic. And in the same sort of half hour, managed to get this chap, used part of the crew from the rescued boat that was in tow to effect his rescue and bring that gentleman safely to shore and to an ambulance before then berthing the boat that they'd rescued earlier. So a bit complex, but I'm glad to hear that the gentleman concerned has fully recovered, and we're only glad that we were there to be able to assist in that sort of rescue of him and the others in the boat and bring them safely ashore. But there's lots of different things that we get involved with that are quite unusual. For example, a couple of weeks ago, our team were around out on the north coast of the Isle of Sheppey, where they come across a model aircraft that had appeared ditched in the sea. This was a beautiful model, and I've got a photograph here that shows a classic vintage style radio control model aeroplane with the red fuselage and tail and white wings. This aircraft, I'm led to believe, is some 50 years old. It had been flown from the Barton Point Model Club. Unfortunately, there had been a problem with it and it came down in the sea, but we were able to recover it and get it back to its owner. A gentleman was very pleased and very kindly wrote us a short note of thanks, and I understand it's flown since, so that's really good.
So pretty amazing, really.
Yeah, I'm well pleased. I fly some of these models myself, and it's terribly sad when you lose one. So that's good. We're part of that. Also in the same month, we supported the Environment Agency on the River Medway at Allington Lock and upstream from there. We were supporting their law enforcement team in tackling people who were speeding and those that hadn't registered their boats as is required there. So lots of different work. Frequently our work is involving the Marine Special Constable team working alongside the regular officers together.
Steve, do you have any useful contact details for our listeners?
Well, our central number that we'd encourage people to ring, two numbers I'll give you. First is the main headquarters in Maidstone, and numbers 01622 690 690. That's 01622 690 690. And you're very welcome to contact us there. And of course there is a new 101 number that people can use. That's 101 for non-urgent matters, and of course urgent matters where a crime's in progress, life is threatened, or people are likely to be injured by circumstances, then always ring 999.
Steve, as always, thank you very much for talking to us here at BRFM.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.